Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Here we go. Actually, not sure what we're doing. Engage the ascension mechanisms of the spindle.
You gotta walk in the life gate.
Wow. Here we go. Wow, that is a mechanism. There's going to be a lot of looking and talking and also not talking during this episode. Painting. Someone sat here, drank some wine, and made a painting. Shrine to the Great Machine. Marble eaters kneel in priestly concordance with the Great Machine, drawing levers and priming hydrants to steer and be steered by the computed will. A dais of crystal diodes gives a dashboard view to the churning of geocultures hundreds of thousands of light years away. The Great Machine, I got a piece of the Great Machine. Is it the same Great Machine? I wonder.
It is.
Desecrate. Okay, well, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know, pray? There's never been a reason to pray, but you voice a short prayer beneath the shrine of the Great Machine. If ever there was a time to pray, I think it was at the shrine of the Great Machine. Graphene ribbon, bubbled ribbon of carbon motes lathed to the thickness of paper combs against anchoring mechanisms and disappears skyward to a tapered nothing. Flanged Eurosteel anchors secure the tapered ribbon. It looks like an awfully long fall. No, I didn't realize that was nothingness. I guess oh, okay. If I had my mini map up, it would have. All right, well. Are you sure you want to ascend the spindle? You know of no means to descend again. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. We've done it. Foliana Jardius. Only in the shallows dawn stirs did I let myself think it possible, and now let us sort our faculties before we reach the rim of our ascent. There is the edge of our journey still to lathe. The Templar are defeated, but will they return in force? I cannot say, but I know it's facile to believe a living heritage can be evanesced in one stroke. We are always downstream of a past violent. You look pained, are you well? Flexes an arthritic paw. I am sorry. 'Tis the acceleration, Foliana Jardius. I am whirling and empty of breath. Steel yourself, and so shall I. By your guess, what awaits us where the spindle breaks? Oh, our cursors draw together on fate's phenomenic slide rule. You burn with speculation, and I molder in the coolness of knowing. I enter my dwarf phase. Deceit. The grueling gate I crossed on every tilt of glittering dusk. I slept in my crime clothes and wept. Did you hear? Or could you hear only the damnable static, like me, and speak not to the machine that belches it out? Heal none of the wounds of its grievous heart, or mine own. So much to bear. Rebecca was a healer, but the daughters of exile, her acolytes, are tinkers. Why? Barathram, I don't understand.
You might want to take the purple ones when they show up. You only have access to them because you know some bit of information that you've learned.
The ascent strains the mind as well as the body. My flight of fancy is done. I am regrounded. Let me try that again. Alright. Rebecca was a healer, but the daughters of exile, her acolytes, are tinkers. Why? Barathram laughs. Still, the brow narrows in performance even as the play ends. The mask must peel off. What? No mask? I am sorry, Foliana Jardius. I wish not to unnerve you with uncharacteristic lightness. You nor the rest deserve this. She was a healer, yes. The wire cutter can perform the work of a scalpel, and the soldering iron to take apart a history and stitch something new. So she was a tinker originally. What did she take apart? Do you know, Foliana Jardius, the engine types that ask us to loose every pin and unhinge every cam to know them? Such an engine of culture we are encased in now, and I cannot speak to the workings of one gear set without disassembling them all. I meant not to tease, and soon, I promise, you will spy the next arc of our journey. Barathram, if the past has some relevance to this moment, I would ask you to share what you know. It is done, then. Have the explication you are owed. When I was a young Bruin, crossed the Homs Delta with my flood-fleeing clan, and into the western reach of Cud, the plagues of the Gyre were already ascendant. We took root at our new hearth, in the Chrome Grottos where we Urshib find natural peace, and by the providence of my elders, I was able to study the tinkering craft. Through my work, I caught the attention of a master machinist, unconventional of method, who took me under her wing and in time availed me of the Orphic truth. She explained, as I've shared with you and the rest of the acolytes, the world we know once belonged to a grand coven of beings who span the stars, and that, acting on some inscrutable logic, they disappeared. That an injunction was placed on our world. This you know. It is the truth I told, if only half, but Rebecca taught me more. Atop the implausible rise of the spindle roosted a seraph, one of the great machinic archons of the Eaters. And this being Rebecca served. In the short years before I arrived in Cud, the Seraph became convinced that something had changed in the cosmic order, that along the ecliptic of the folk clock, some uncounted peg had slid to a priming position, and that the coven was set to imminently return. The folk clock? The Seraph spoke of a great machine that spanned galaxies, the motion of whose sails and gear trains directed the fluidic shifting of stars and cultures, but they spoke little of it, and little I know. To ready our world for the Coven's return, the Seraph, who would be called Reshef, became convinced that all higher life on the planet must be purged, that it was our life and way of living that moved the Coven to set the injunction. The only way through was for a new life to obtain. And so Reshef seeded the plagues and whirled them via waveform to a breathing gyre. Blights engineered to attack life whilst preserving the planet's artifacts of glass and chrome. Rebecca, dear tutor, betrayed Reshef's confidences and apprised me of the plan, so that I might help her dash it apart and save the people of our world. Together we beseeched Reshef, begged them to reverse the gyre. I pleaded. I asked for time. Give me time to reform Cud, extinguish the hatefulness and needless war-making, to lift our world across the Eschaton and prepare it for the Coven's return. After a storm of shrapnel words, the Seraph acceded to 10 centuries. 10 centuries. An eye blink on the scales of the folk clock, but an eternity for us, so I believed. The rousing signal would cease. The plagues of the gyre would be reversed, to the extent they could, for even the potent Archon had not full governance over what they had worked into being. Well, that's a bombshell and a half. What would there be for the Coven to return to if life on our world was purged? I asked Reshef that very question, but the Seraphim transit an ethical manifold much different than our own, so they didn't have an answer for him.
Well, you're asking about the ethics of the Seraph. What did Reshef consider right? What is there to return to an empty world with a bunch of amazing technology? Ripe for the taking, right?
Right. Why had Reshef become Sultan? Once the Seraph had become convinced of the Coven's return, they reified their authority and assumed a more material role in onward matters. The decaying Sultanate was a convenient tool. Reshef is remembered as a healer, and he was, of a sort. The cure for a plague is often too its cause, with one's paw on the dials and drum of power. History is a cloth to be loom spun. How did the agreement play out? We allied on the notion that the Sultanate must be abolished for the future to flower. I was to execute the earthly plan, while Reshef continued preparations at the astronomical tier to achieve a sort of bicameralism of action. Reshef insisted on reformatting their personality as a triumvirate, seeded from thin scans of the original Archon, Rebecca, and myself. The art of myth-making was employed to enshrine the Reshef persona, thus the healer, the coiled lamb, and perhaps unexpectedly the above.
One thing to mention here, anyone who's playing through this, don't just take the fact that you watched us read it, because this is on point 99999. Some of these conversations have been changed a little to expose things more clearly. Some haven't. I think this one stayed the same, but
I kind of wouldn't want it any other way, honestly. What a perfect way to play the ending of Cud, if not to have a little bit of ambiguity thrown in.
Yeah.
What is canon? And that's always been an interesting question for Cud. What happened to Rebecca? Reshef would not forgive her trespass. She contracted the rotting tongue while abetting the lepers of Shapir. When her time came, she got Glarot.
yeah.
Reshef would not let her return home. Brathram weeps. Then you did not succeed by Reshef's measure. What? Who's there? It is me, Barathrum Folianagiridius. Oh, good. Good. If the signal sounds and the gyre widens again, then you did not reach whatever watermark Reshef set. No, Cud is fractious, and no lasting peace has obtained. I tried. For decades on decades I tried our paws on the tiller, to shim together what blossomed in the wild. The restoration of machines, the federation of free sovereignties, the nourishing rituals of salt and star, the sacred, the profane. In the late years I saw the writing on the wall. I turned us inward, retreated to my candle-dim study to angle at the project alone, a new plan. Barathrum starts panting.
So the idea is like he's getting shoved into his seat and having a hard time breathing throughout this entire conversation. He's old. He's over 1,000 years old.
I failed it. I have failed. 1,000 years too short. And more time. I am debased on the plank across the light of God. Do I have a rightful claim to pity, blindness? This darkling room abjures the light. Is this the house of judgment, Hortensia, or mere penumbra, a child's play cave, and law and language, not yet invented, cast their forcing functions back through time to puppet the unblossomed mind to civilized shape? Each of us is a sick animal in a darkling thicket, each cursed with machinery to compress the clamber of echoes into Bee's mother's mountains country. How many millions of snow-sick years to sow a feeling substance into an agent of the world, a felt and machine animal, and in so doing, to stuff the whole of the world inside the agent, an inarguable document of its falsity. For agency is, in its very definition, the world, in containment acting on itself.
What is the nature of thought? We mimic the things we've learned. It is society and the world acting on itself through your so-called agency, which, do you really have it?
Then perhaps the greater bodies whose agency I share the smaller cut from might share too the greater portion of my meal and blame. O winding Svi, thou art devious in symbol shape like serpent ball. Hinnom, for blooming algae, thou cross thy perch's back. Shifting moon, or shiftless moon, sun, proud and idle sun, silver father of the protoplanets, claim mine selfhood and be done with it. Why ascend the spindle then? For what purpose? Barathrum's countenance suddenly burns bright. Did you know, Folianagiridius, I harbor a memory older than even the flooding of my hearth cave, a gleaming ancient tale told by my elders to the nippy cub I once was. In the age of the Covenant, a coterie of our Urshib ancestors took to the stars to ply their burning cores. Can you envision it? Oh, I know a secret. I know there is a functioning starship atop the spindle. We can take it. We launch ourselves into the deepness of the dusted cosmos and find the starship. You and I. Starship. Barathrum, we're to rest the fate of Cud on a mere cub's tail? Starship. Starship. Now he's talking my language. Hell yeah, Starship.
That seems like option 3 there.
Starship. Hell yeah, Barathrum. We love it.
I think you need to hit 5 a couple times here.
Perfection. And it crashed.
Yeah, you might want to take off the other pearls. I don't know if you're gonna be editing in the us rewatching this, but the first time I saw this scene set to this music, emo moments, like seeing this game like getting near its end, you know?
Yeah, it's a really profound moment to be able to see it finish like this. It's almost like we've been there listening to the signal for like how many number of years and just forced to wait and wonder.
I want to say this was done about 6 months before the rest of the end game. In the original video that Brian rendered of it, it was a cat golem, which was hilarious.
I appreciate that it uses your tile as like,
Yeah.
you really are part of the moment there.
The game, my guess is the game crashed because it put the guy in space.
Well, we're here. It's been a trip. Let's take it all in. Completed the quest. We are Starfreight. I know it to be arduous for you, Maven. What do you mean, Maven? Did I not get a new title? Damn. To see me like this, the imago unstrung. I'm sorry. I am so proud of you. I wish it were I did not peel like your model. Farewell now, Maven. Live and drink. What do you mean? No. What do you mean? Are you staying here? Where's he going?
He's running for the spaceship, dude.
Oh, that's so... I'm so happy for him, honestly. He deserves that. I mean, I'm faster than you, Barathrum. I bet you I could beat you. What do we got? Statue of Eater. They still like eaters up here. You know, a thought occurs why they're called eaters in the first place. Because of the nature of what we've just learned. We're dealing with, like, beings older than life. It makes sense they would be called eaters because they're like, what are those creatures doing? I don't know if it's a very base way of looking at it, but like, What are they? I don't know. They put things in their mouth, each other, stuff on the ground. They don't just live forever and like purge planets.
Yeah.
Earthgate. Cultured patinae grow in whittled grooves across the doors of star bronze. Inset on joined halves is a gigantic jeweled sphere with islands of agate on drifting seas of turquoise. The myriad ways of being are depicted on the panel margins in high relief. Eaters lift and lower chains to the star-ribbon sky, swallow stardust, and the cartwheel ritual to the vaporous rim of existence. Now you go ahead, Barathrum. You've earned that one. Go ahead. I'm a little bit worried for him. Hologram of Eater. These Eaters are getting interesting. Still up. Still up. Okay. Cut has never been more animated, honestly. Starfire icons skip on a board of holographic bronze. It reads, westwise to Shard, eastwise to movers of the point of Tiferet. Where is Barathrum going? He's going eastward.
You should follow him if you want to see where the ship is.
Okay, fair enough. Wait, Barathrum. Okay. Mover. Oh. Pilot Beetle. The Pilot Beetle is already in use by Barathrum. Oh.
Yeah, you're moving at a world map scale.
What if I just move him? Oh, there we go. Whoa.
I think you can walk the mover to the east.
Whoa.
And then down and east.
Wow.
I think you're going to the one all the way on the east.
Hold on, Barathrum.
So, do you really want to fly off with them, or do you want to do something else? There's other choices in here.
Well, I guess the part that sucks is that I have a funny feeling if I don't make that decision now, I can't make that decision later. Because he's just going to take off, isn't he?
Yep.
I would like to see the spaceship, if that's an option.
You could also just stop him.
Oh, yeah?
You could potentially do your cooking, proselytize, get him to follow you around the rest of the... I don't know if his AI overrides all that or not at this point.
I don't want to
You could
cheese
also
the ending.
just kill him.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I would not want to do that at all. I want what's best for him, really. I'd say let him go. Wait, what? Where'd he go?
He went south.
I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna watch him take off, and then I'm gonna see this to the ending that I like. Would I like to come with him? Sure. But like? Is this the ship itself?
I think it's up. Or enter, yeah.
Wait, bathroom.
I think if he takes off with you on the ship, it's gonna take off.
Shit. Okay. You're crazy, bathroom. I'm content to leave it at that, I suppose.
I don't remember if he takes off when he sits down or... Oh, there you go.
Starship takes off. Goodbye, bathroom. Ah.
Good luck finding the starship.
Wow. Okay. We've got a lot of things to check out, I suppose. Outworld Vault, Bazaar of Samek. It's just like, I'm assuming it's only the lit dots I can actually enter. This was previously a more interesting or complete world. Too ruined for the mover to land. So there's there's 3 destinations, but one is now lost to us. Let's check out this one. This might be the shard. I'm assuming I can't go here. I love that there's just like so many interesting looking stops that we can't hit at all.
I mean, gotta leave some room for DLC, right?
Okay. Hello, Golem. How'd you get over here?
Don't forget you can clairvoyance.
Oh yeah. We have
It's a
an
little
east.
garden.
Oh, this is fresh water, and we just picked a bunch of it up. Does that loop around?
Yeah, it's a little Pac-Man-y.
That looks like a Urshkagal. No, it's a history. Oh, god damn it. I'm gonna unequip that. Temple dedication plaque. This temple was built in 638-01 key by the Exhaustiers Guild, who detached from their egregore ellipsoid hourglass in the map era.
I do think there is someone to talk to in this map.
It's probably upstairs. Oh god, okay. Ionic within covalency heart. I don't think I can talk to that, but I certainly will try. Oh, I can. Sapience, hey. Time goes. Since I have communed last, my adornments speak. Has interstate power been declared among the Codex people? Who are you? What are you? Gathered and spun, I emerge into spoken Ionic through covalency heart. What are, I cannot. Finding no entry, for the rest is at home. A strand to you. So it's a tree with a bunch of string on it that speaks. What is this place? Hey, this one I have. Route bound we to Star Orchid Temple. One of more. Here celebrate burn dust of the Tail Riders. Mosaic innumerability. What interstate power? Who are the Codex people? By my adornments. It is the mat below. And its home havers. It is not. I offer a strand. This entry can be at home. Having all time and no entry home, we addle. I ascended the spindle to arrive at this place. Emerges this creature from soil, speaks adornment. Shaken carefully because thought was the line closed. Our remembers at home strand. Live and drink? Do you trade? No, you don't. What is you? What a strange critter. We have a couple of very interesting things here. Temple projector broken. Oh no. I have one fix-it spray foam. I guess I can just repair it. I do have that ability. Hyperdimensional scum glistens on the projection disc from when it was doused in the soapy film of interspace-time. That's true, it is orange. The disc is silent now, sundered from its transcendental entanglements, its base offering a shade wall for moss to prosper on. I'm not sure if I want to fix that just yet. Temple gate. Can I not enter it?
Probably need the projector to be on.
Then I do need to fix it. Cannot repair the temple projector. I disagree.
Polygel it, just in case you needed another one.
Oh yeah, okay. Or I cannot believe we're polygelling a fix-it spray foam.
Well, I mean, you wasted a ton of them throughout the game, so I can.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there it is. It's fixed.
Don't know if it seems to be working or not. You can try entering the temple. Maybe it works. Nope. Okay. Well, you fixed the projector. It still says it's silent.
Wonder if it has to be turned on. Okay, well, let's check out one of the other locations. There really is only the one. Always curious about the path that has no road. What is this? A great curved and flanged length of metal replicates the layout of the witch court on its three-handed sculptor, species steaming earth. There and under a quincunx moon, rhapsodes of war are locked in ceremonial combat.
Interestingly enough, I do know what a quincunx is if you're interested. It is literally anything in the shape of like the number 5 on a 6-sided die. Like that little cross shape as an X, like that's a quincunx.
Where are we finding these words? I want to know.
I don't know. But that one's like a Scrabble word, right?
Yeah. This weapon has multiple grips that change its weapon type.
You can change its grip to be a dagger.
I mean, we probably do want a short blade.
You're never gonna need to use this. You could, I guess. There's one thing you could do here.
So what do we got? We got bones and a weird artifact. Tempted to just put the visage on, but let's examine it. I was unironically looking for some strange tubes. Gotta sit down at the edge of the world. It's a rifle.
Oh, I guess you should put the visage on. Not enough intelligence to figure that one out.
Quantum reverb light rail, huh? When fired, this weapon creates a hologram of its wielder, who continues to fire along the same path.
You're carrying 3 Zetachrome gloves. That's like 30 pounds.
Huh. Mollusk hexacherub, huh? Neutral. Belongs to the cast of quickened cherub. +5 quickness, teleportation.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna want to mess with the hexacherubs.
Yeah, especially since they have cold resistance. Attacks have a small chance to transmute opponents into gemstones. Great. Attacks discharge clockwork beetles. I'm assuming they have something very interesting in their non-deterministic core. Light stage. Deactivated hologram projector. Okay, hold on. Oh, hello. Hologram of Barathrum. Oh, what? Am I cohering? Curious. To fetch my notebook, but oh.
It's like young Barathrum.
Oh, that's young Barathrum.
It's not Barathrum the old.
What is this? Hologram of Archon mainframe. The depiction coheres of the explosive energy of the universe bottled in a shielded bulb and pistoned into a vast and edged intelligence. From there, the great machinic archons of the Eaters fissioned in their oracula, and, with Beetles as fingers, lathed the waking world. Rebecca, that makes sense. The gown floweth over small shoulders, and a sidewise veil gives a glitching shape to a face tilted at the angle of anonymity. The last, and freed from the lace of its cuff, the hand is moted like a sorceress lamp, and shines in fairness. Aha, thy phantasm magics art crystal sibs, to the shivers owe the skin of Avalon, and thee, Moon King? So, when all 3 are activated, we can look at Reshef and maybe talk to them. Drape flows off his shoulder with mythoprosaic inevitability, and the digital dyad implies both senative peace on earth and congruity with the vault of heaven. Now that's actually wondering if this is something translatable. Oh. Cohering. As the frigid spray to the block of ice, 'tis cold. Phantasmed o'er the thin boundary, 'tis been a tick. And thou, child, thou art who oft that flow a hind joust. Who did I off? Thou art sat in the movements of the great Siach, and I before thee. Thou art an impressive bead to be drawn up just by thy own spit and wiles. Who art thou? I am Foliana Duridius. Egregore or one wise? What?
Mass mind or singular thought.
Oh. Thou art sat in the movements of the great Siach, and I before thee. Wherefore art thou? Let's trade.
It's a hologram. I don't think it has anything.
Yeah, I know. I am here on account of your gyre and its plagues. Hear me, I ask. Ooh. Aye, the earth-wide marshalling waxes, the Nephilim rouse. I augur some centuries still before the full tillage of the new sphere. Ideas doth stick like moss to rock, and must be vacuumed from the comb. Why purge all life? Aside from the immorality of it, nothing would remain. All life? Dost thou jest? Nay, not all life, only ye life that buoys the new sphere, and life that buoys it, and life that buoys it. All life. Dost thou knowst the full sum of fungus mass on world? Hast thou beheld the vastness of yon bubbling slimes? Ho ho, heh. Not all life then, but most intelligent life. Why? By the reckoning of the Gemara Sophia, the exit was drawn by a gyre of nootropic currents in the prior field. Now the sidereal eon draweth done to outsurf the waveform. A new life must obtain. This is surprisingly coherent. Reshef seems like almost like a bro. He's not like in a friendly sense, but in a like a Chad sense.
Yeah.
Nootropic current in with the fluidic manifold of local sapience. Beings think and feel, currents doth form, and kinesis is begotten. I have more to ask. Do you believe the coven now returns? The sidereal eon draweth done mine arguments of periapsis near the 0 hour, and we approach periopoliticon as near the work of the Gemara approximates the manifold of the automata Sophia. I'm gonna entertain this. Reshef, I have annulled the Nephilim, the greatest of the Gyre's plagues. Your plan is broken. Aye, so thou hast. And thou shalt do so again if prompted. When low denizens cannot undo the plagues, the marshalling hath failed. The world is thus doomed. Thou knowest it not, but sun chill of a covenless being is as the living a life alone, bereft of all kinship. I grieve that thou art unable to perceive this, alas. There's a lot to take away from that.
The fact that the coven can't return to Cud while sapience remains.
So the only rights that Reshef saw was if we had succeeded in obtaining peace by their bar and thus allowing the coven to return. That was the only way forward by Reshef's eyes. And because I undid the Gersh, I've spoiled our chance of being judged. That was not the test. It was a test of some weird ethics. The earthwise marshalling hath failed. Wherefore art thou? I'm not ready to speak on the final fate of Cud just yet. Barathra mentioned a great machine. Aye, the automata Sophia called, the 72-fold piece called, the computed will called, the folk clock. The folk clock is actually real? I thought it was just a metaphor that Barathra used.
The folk clock is another name for the Great Machine.
Oh, the Great Machine, across the light of God, or the Great Machine. Oh, I see. He's telling me all of the names of the Great Machine.
Mm-hmm.
The automata Sophia. So the Great Machine is Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Somewise on a forest moon in high Eridanus, a cave mank Perth,
Prieth.
and the deep river motor jumpeth to life. Elsewise in the sun bathes of Merak, 3 plasmoids drawth through their ritual the suited Zevoet. Doth not relate these two? Nay, they are sequence procedures that arketh to common purpose, though neither party knoweth what it is. 2 completely different societies were working on something. One was working on a machine, and the other was working on a ritual. And in some weird way, these 2 things were related.
They're a part of the Great Machine.
They are part of the Great Machine. But neither of them knew this. They are dictates and co-constitutives of the automata Sophia, the great machine worshipped across cultures, yet likewise builded and operated. Verily, its full workings no one wise being can know, but the seraphim have compiled the Gemara in the course of our study. 'Tis a silly stratagem for the conveyance of culture, in mine estimation. Alas, 'tis what the coven serveth. Reshef is an interesting character. If its full workings are unknowable, is it possible the course of action you take is the wrong one? Yeah, for right and wrong are 2 courses, concepts to match the richness of the Gemara, yet the plurality holdeth that the exit was drawn by a gyre of nootropic currents within the prior field, and that the crown upon the tree of life must needs be pruned to till and reseed the new sphere. You say plurality. Are there other interpretations? Yeah, the inquiry is ever rich, but idle inquiry doth but deepen the sun chill of a southernless being. or giveth rude actors fodder to pervert the learnings for their own parochial gain. Parochial. The inquiry is ever rich. So he's saying, like, nice question. I'm sure you'd like to know more, but like, if you did, then you might just abuse that knowledge, or like, it kind of feels like he's very much disregarding me as anything.
Little of that, I would say. Yeah.
I am sorry, world child, mine feeling parts do chafe, and though the telic currents within me do flow o'er the manifold and toward consensual action, I speak with the dissident voice. Thou wast worthy, thou hast wrought monuments of thyself upon the earth and within me. Aye, the earthwise marshalling waxes, wherefore art thou? Oh, okay, so he was talking down to me, and then he kind of double backed and was like, oh, okay, maybe you're okay. What moved the coven to set the injunction on our world? By the reckoning of the Gemara Sophia, the exit was drawn by a gyre of nootropic currents in the prior field. We cannot know the particulars, yet the plurality reasoneth that some gyre of nootropic currents, some thought matter of the civilization below, did spin and contradict to the dictates of the automata Sophia. And thus were the ecliptics shifted and we cast out. So the plurality being Chava.
Well, the plurality, I believe, is just all of the seraph, like because they're one mind.
Okay, including Reshef. So he's saying that Cud was deviating from the plan.
Yeah, that thoughts on the world below are counter edict to the plan, and therefore Cud was taken off the map of where the coven are, like the coven left.
Okay, I feel like part of this is the conflict of a mass mind versus individual thought, which is in many ways what I've always thought Cud was about. What is the same versus what is different. In a lot of ways, Putus Templar represent what is the same. We represent history, and we're washing over anything that is different from that. The old ways are best.
They're also not a mass mind, and
no, they aren't.
Yeah.
Reshef is representing a whole new form of what is the same, which is all of thought up until a certain point was the same thought. The great machine, the dictates. He would never consider questioning that because he is that, basically. So yeah, anything that even slightly deviated from Sophia was cast out. I see. This is but the mere plurality, and many other interpretations do obtain. The inquiry is ever rich, yet inaction doth but deepen the sun chill of a coveless being. A course.
I think that should say covenless. Probably got fixed. That's been his statement of woe repeatedly, right? It's basically, I tired of existing without the coven here to touch me.
And thus a course must needs be chosen. Pruning the crown granteth the best chance tree to thrive. What is the Gemara Sophia? So there's the Gemara Sophia and the Automata Sophia. I thought the Gemara Sophia was history put to, permanence.
Well, let's find out.
After the exit, I and the other orphan seraphim set forth to interpret the workings of the Automata Sophia and discern why the coven had departed. Centuries of pattern making, argument, and chanting did ensue. The seraphic commentaries were compiled, and Gemara Sophia is the result thereof. Can I read the Gemara? Nay, it would take centuries to inculcate thee in the seraphic hermeneutics, and as yet thou art no gifted cantor. Barathram told
basically saying you couldn't even understand the language is written in.
Right. I wouldn't live long enough to read it all. Oof. Barathram told of a splinter race of Urshib that took to the stars. Are they real? Perchance, some beetles dost hop from leaf to leaf, and some do not. I kind of love-hate Reshef right now.
Yeah.
He feels like both God and an intern to something even more
he's
vast.
intern to God.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
To us, we are like specks in the sand, and he's like really just kind of entertaining one. It's like, okay, all right. Oh, do you actually see me? All right, we'll chat for a sec. I implore you, Reshef, reverse the gyre. That's not even relevant anymore. I reversed the gyre in a way, I guess. Maybe not. I guess Reshef already said you did it, but will you 1,000 years from now, will your world do it again?
Will you be around to do it again?
Yeah. Nay, the sidereal eon draweth done, and the world garden must be tilled for the coven's return. But you entered into a covenant with Barathram. Aye, and he failed to uphold his portion. No meaningful transversion of the nootropic currents. No, that's a good one.
Immediatization.
of hyperethric topologies. The same schemes abide.
Didn't change the way people think, the nootropic currents, right? And there seems to be no understanding of higher ethics amongst the cultures. Hyperethic topology.
It's getting too real. What you ask may be impossible. I ask for naught. Barathrum did. Couldn't another covenant be written? To what end? Barathrum offered no inroads to success. I am not Barathrum. Grant me the same covenant and I will succeed. I don't know about that one, bud. I would ask something else. I don't know if there is anything else to ask. I am ready to speak on the final fate of Cud. Then let us discourse. Though the threat has been neutralized, I can't abide your amoral course. I return now to Cud to help nurture its communities. I've mused on your words and have joined you at your vantage point. The plagues of the Gaia are the only way to prepare for the Coven's return. Resume your plan. Jeez, are these my only answers?
Yeah.
Enter a new covenant with me then. Oh, but then a change must be wrought from what hath been before. I strove mine utmost to keep in high esteem the perspectives of mine attendant and her stout-hearted cub, but their wills were too weak, and I subsumed them. Wilt thou remain at the Shiva with me, and lend thy hand to steer the course of the world from this lofty perch? Thou shalt maintain discourse with thy contacts upon the world, and from this place shalt thou console them.
He's basically saying, sure, I'll enter a new covenant, but you have to stay here so that we can stay in communication. But I think option 2 is giving you a chance to talk to him about something else, some other secret, you know?
Speak thy ask. You must grant me and my cohort at Gritgate access to the Gamera Sophia and all other knowledge of the cosmos and coven you possess. In this new accord we shall be peers, all of us. Or you must grant me alone access to the Gamera Sophia and all other knowledge of the cosmos and coven you possess. In this new accord we shall be peers and the on-worlders agents of our schemes. Well, that's an interesting one. I mean, this second one, I think there's really only one answer for me.
Mm-hmm.
It makes so much more sense to hand it off to the likes of, Q-Girl and the Barathrums.
Yeah, Clank is down there.
And Clank. It kind of sucks that Barathrum took off, honestly. He could have been part of something even bigger, but I understand what he did was...
He had 1,000 years. It's your turn.
Yeah. All right. Aye, let it be so. I shall impart my bounty of knowledge and instruct thy people in the hermeneutics of the Gemara, as far as thou art capable of understanding. It shall take time, howbeit, to master the seraphic rituals. Only the grandchildren of thy scholars shall unfurl the inmost layers, but together we shall see. That's optimistic. Then I guess I'm done. I don't think there's anything else to do.
Seems like it.
You annulled the plagues of the Gyre, then you entered into a covenant with Reshef to help prepare Cud for the Coven's return.
Hey, look, there's my name.
We got a warden cherub cat. We're Iraq, stone trader. Satchel in the thrice pocketed style of Odrum, his sweat pressed on her back. Time in the hills has altered her features. Tall forehead, outstretched legs, eyes full of wonder, and given them stony cast. Ease the pain, addle the brain. Be careful when you chew which would bark. What are you? Gersh Godling. A creature of wing, hoof, and spine slouches to the weight of years. Tongue tralaling, a rich and wistful echo, countenance shining in the bright spectrum of effect. Irresidual grease churns under their mosaic skin, fractalized by their multi-threaded lineage, and beams rainbows that swirl off in seven-dimensional strips. The thing awaits, unbidden. Hi, Pather. Hear tell of the ancient Reshefs, now their foibles led to our nowadays. Tell me the story. Begins in a time before the Limen and its vanguard, before the Ascension, when the spire rose unchallenged and unascended. The Hollowers who committed their work to emptying our world were long agone, but Reshefs laid claim to the baffled ground in their place. Even as their holdings withered, they held on. By the time of the last Reshef, little remained of their works, less of their glory. When it began, Faliana Juridius had no shared helices with the Reshefs previous, making their name through works and alliances alone. The lives saved and otherwise changed by Faliana Juridius were myriad, uncountable, and only partially made record. When they spoke, even the plagues of Cud listened. At the end of their reign, Faliana Juridius made a compact with the Nephilim that they should never vex the creatures of Cud again. So done, they climbed to the top of the spire, where to end the Reshefet altogether and never be heard from again. Word of Faliana Juridius's deeds reached record only after the unheralded appearance of the Knights Liminal, and broad assumption suggests that the former established the latter. Could be that the ancient Reshef yet lives within or outside of the boundaries of the Limen, but no word escapes its borders. Who are you? I have been called Inheritor, Godling, Spirechild, Nephilim. They are all fitting names, but none complete or sufficient. As it is with you, I am the convergence of past ripples into present force. As it is with you, I am deeds done and the intention toward deeds yet to be done. Who is Faliana Juridius? Who? No one of significance until fortune and volition made them otherwise. Now, no one knows. What is a Reshef? Ancient leaders called themselves such. I feel like all of the sultans are now just Reshefs.
Yep.
Including myself, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the Limen? The Knights Liminal? To me, they are stories. I have made no quest to trespass the borders they hold, so dear in their rituals. Some say they are mortal creatures, like any other, contracted by an outsider coven. Others do not believe they are mortal. Others still do not believe that those mysterious strangers have anything to do with the Limen at all. Mayhaps somewhat seek them. What became of the Nephilim? They lived, simply a part of the world now. No longer a Silas scourging the earth. They lived as the creatures they were. Descendants of their offspring may walk on and under Cud. Mayhaps the first ones yet live. Mayhap they slumber. Mayhap they will rage again one day to disrupt a stagnant world.
I think there's histories painted on the...
Painted. This item is painted with a scene from the life of the ancient Reshef Faliana Juridius in a cathedral ornamented with pairs of sandals. Faliana Juridius cemented their friendship with the villagers of Marketum by marrying Silicu the Wise, Dromad Merchant. A rather different looking Dromad Merchant. Waggles her neck to the stiff rhythms of the wind and shrugs her hump forward. Time in the hills has altered her features. Tall forehead, outstretched legs, eyes full of wonder, and given them a stony cast. Oh hey! Mechanical troll golem broken. Scrap metals from abroad, the table of elements are welded together in sculpture of the mythic features. The tall forehead, the outstretched legs, the eyes full of wonder. Old soup and spills of brain brine stain its rusted torso. And in the smoldering light, its pose evokes the presence of a dying chromeling. Iron limbs were beaten to the shape of the axe, and at center mass hangs the broken sigil of a floating glow sphere. Kusvam, village tinker. Need a gadget repaired or identified, friend? Or, if you're a tinker yourself, perhaps you'd like to pursue my schematics. I'm gonna do an auto-explore and read some of this history. While roaming the westwide jungle, Foliana Juridius came upon a clan of Urshib performing a secret ritual. Because of Foliana Juridius's disc-like eyes, they accepted her into their fold and taught them their secrets. Upon the completion of a great pilgrimage, Foliana Juridius cemented their friendship with the Mechanimus by marrying Esheldstat II, High Priest of the Stilt. We married a lot of people. In the month of Ulu Ut, we were challenged by a pretender to a duel over the rights of dogs. We won and murdered the pretender by filling them with existential despair. We appointed the corrupt administrator Asphodel as Earl and Minister of Omenpork. There, they mandated the practice of seasoning food in Foliana Juridius' name. As with any history, some of this is subject to ambiguity. Inside a colossal light bulb, we cemented their friendship with the Tinker's Guild by marrying our guy for a second time. Wow, now we know this.
Now you know it's fake.
Yeah. Because of our coating of foul slime, they accepted Foliana Juridius into their fold and taught them their secrets. We won a decisive victory against the combined forces of beasts from the Salt Dunes at the bloody Battle of Ashen Pyramid. And finally, in 1003 AR, Foliana Juridius cleansed the hills of the plagues of the Gyre, and through the tutelage of the Tinker monks at Gritgate, taught Shurabes to sow star apple trees along their fertile tracks. This is not Jopa. This is Shurabes. In an excavation at a site of deep history near the markets of Camarpa, we recovered the star-spangled Udokt Boon, the historic relic once thought lost to the sands of time. Adventurer, welcome to the village of Binip. We are a society who venerate Foliana Juridius and scorn Polyexis II. Per our custom, you may drink of our fresh water and quench your thirst. What's your rep? Loved by the villagers of Binip and the Merchants Guild, hated by the Aurelian Iron Gauntlet clan, hated by fungi. Oh no, not the Yashufim. We have no idea what this is. You teach me slam and the lust and savory fungus on top of hash. Leaving the village will end the game. I think that's it.
Ab.
Caves of Cud just crashed.
Oh.
You annulled the plagues of the Gyre. Then you entered into a covenant with Reshef to help or prepare Cud for the Coven's return. I was kind of hoping, I'm very glad there is a epilogue of sorts, but I was kind of hoping we would get a quest of like, oh, there's some crazy Urshibs that have like, they think they're onto something, and I gotta send you over to go and help them as they've like been pondering the text. I love the little icon we've gotten.
So that's one of the, I guess, like 12 ways the game can end. 6 ways?
Oh my god.
6 ways?
I assume you can challenge Reshef, and then there might be a final battle. I'm happy with the ending I got, and I think it's the best ending I could ask for. I probably, if we hadn't been playing together, it wouldn't have been the one I would have ended up with.
Yeah.
I would have been very lost.
It was also extra special because you had dealt with Ehil Codon, right?
Right. There's a lot of ways that conversation can go, and I think a lot of them are very disappointing for a being who's talking to God, basically. So the way that it ended up, I like couldn't really ask for more. Like, hey, maybe pull us into the loop this time, and maybe we won't disappoint you. It's a lot to take in. There's a very dense ending.
It is. 1,000 years later, though, you know.
I really appreciate that our final icon is sharing the dram. So, it was very difficult to convey this through the editing, but I do want to mention, though it doesn't really matter at all, that we never legitimately died.
Yep. I think it only ever crashed.
It only ever crashed. The only time
we never restored a checkpoint.
The only time we actually died, and we didn't literally die, but we did collapse under gravitational force by eating neutron flux.
But we were psychometried.
We were psychometried, but we also didn't die.
Yeah, because the bug.
It bugged, yeah.
We had a lot of crashes, but I think that was because we were on the pre-release version and we had like updated the save. a couple times, and we install some mods in the middle of the run. Like, it was a little bit of a extra buggy experience for CUD.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it crashing that much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a unfair kind of representation of the game because, like, we are in a very homebrew version of it.
I don't know what else to say. Thanks everyone for joining us. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the one of many endings you could possibly have.
All right. Well, if you have enjoyed the series, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and that's it. Leave a comment.
Bye.